So I think these are, as you rightly said, sensitive points, especially when it comes to fertilizers per se. And textile has gone through this earlier as well in terms of how the inverted duty structure can be played out. My sense is there will be discussion on this as far as the council is concerned. There is always a support to take care of the inverted duty structure in most of the sectors. But what has happened is wherever there are sensitivities involved, especially with the end customers being involved, we have seen it has taken more time. So my personal assessment is discussions on fertilizers would happen. I'm assuming, or I'm sure that the council will look at the numbers as to how they play out. And then perhaps, if not in this council meeting, in the next meeting, there could be some decisions around inverted duty structure, because our assessment is there is always a big push to take care of inverted duty structure as part of the GST regime per se. So that's my sense on fertilizers at this point of time.
Okay, what in your view are going to be the big ticket items on the agenda, Prashant?
Yeah, so I think one of the big things that may happen, and it's being discussed a lot, is of course on the online gaming, which may come up. And our sense is that at least for the past period, there could be some kind of a assessment being done as to how relief may be provided to the industry, because at one point of time, the government is so supportive of building up this whole industry per se, and we have seen in the past that the past minister also had supported to relook at this. In fact, even when this decision was made, it was clearly stated that it would be reviewed at some point of time during this financial year. So one of the assessment is that the online gaming part of it would be something that they would look at. The other, which even Badri covered, that there could be, and which industry is also looking at, some kind of an amnesty being brought in. And for that, the amendment in law would be required. One would eagerly look at how they look at including some of the products. You said natural gas. There is also discussion on ATF, where the revenue impact is limited as far as the states are concerned. So, and that would set the podium for other products to get included over a period of time. I mean, it's not that it would happen immediately. Our assessment is that perhaps the discussion will surely happen, because natural gas was something that was picked up earlier as well. So our assessment is natural gas, ATF, the discussion would happen. One will have to see how and which states, if at all, oppose or bring up points of discussion. I don't see that the final decisions on natural gas or ATF happening immediately, but a lot of push may be made to discuss and come to some kind of a conclusion around it. That's on the broader picture. The other thing I see is that continuous efforts to see how duty evasions or the GST evasion can be taken care of. What more measures may be taken by the government around that is something that one should expect an announcement around. And those could mean that some of the compliance-related changes which may be made, making it more robust as a process from a return filing process. Some of the things that the industry had asked from a compliance ease may also come into picture as we move along. So those are things broadly that I see happening. Of course, there will be tinkering of some of the rates and clarification, some of the burning topics which we have seen. It could be corporate guarantee, which was one big issue where the government did come up with some of the amendments, but still there were follow-up discussions which have happened with the industry. There could be areas, we hope, which may be picked up around ESOPs and discussed by the council, and hopefully clarification being brought in, which could bring in relief to the industry. So those are things that we believe broadly may be covered.
All right, so quite a long list of things that could be covered. One big overarching theme that even if not on this council's agenda or this meeting's agenda should definitely be there is perhaps rate rationalization. What we're going to do is we're going to take a very small break and then come back and talk about it in detail and set the context of